Thank you.
Here.
Reinhardt.
Here.
Hopefully.
Here.
Ellsworth. Here. Ambrosio.
Here.
Gilmore.
Here.
Haskell.
Here.
Brown.
Okay. Our closed session is gonna be moved up between approval of minutes and general public comment. And if you can even talk to her there right now. With that change, could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So the agenda or 21? I think we're moving it out.
Yeah, he wants to approve that change. of the-
Oh,
Move it up to the
I'm
agenda.
sorry.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda with the changes.
Motion got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from November 8th? If so, could I have a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
The motion got a second. All in favor? Opposed? All right. All I need is a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make the motion to go into closed session.
I'll second. All right. Sorry for the interruption, but do we have any public comment?
We need a motion to get back
Cool.
from section, please. So David.
I move that we go back into open session.
One second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're in open session. Any public comment? Yes, Pat.
I was looking at the agenda here.
Pat Adams.
I'm Pat Adams, by the way, I'm sorry, I should get used to that. On the, toward the end, you have a place for public comment.
Yeah.
Then you have more business going on after that, unfinished business and then new business. Would it, be possible in the future to have public comment right before adjournment? That way, if somebody wants to comment about what happened during that meeting, they could have the opportunity to.
Why don't I write that down? Because I'm gonna be sending your board rules out to you for review. And that would have to be changed in your board rules,
We'll look at it.
so we can look
Okay.
at it.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay. Any questions or comments on the communications list? Administrator's report.
All right. Recently I just applied for what's called the Chill Grant. We requested $500,000 of community development block grant dollars. And the idea is to partner this money with a land bank grant that was just submitted. This is for reconstruction of demolition projects and homeowner improvement. So it provides homeowner improvements for families at 80% of the area median income, for a loan as a soft second. Also, I put an application in for a grant for body cameras, and it pays half of body cameras, so body cameras are like $800 each. With all the other accessories, and it pays for half of body cameras. I did also put in a grant for a body scanner for the jail. Our legislature's been adjourned for the year, so no update there. We do have a new estimate on opioid settlement dollars, which we were gonna be getting about 900,000, but now we're getting about 1.6 million over the next 17 years. I've been meeting with the stakeholders and Gladden County, because we all have like the same organizations that help with addiction, 1016, Michigan Works, the health department. So the money has to go out to something that's not a duplication of a service. So we're close to figuring out exactly what we're gonna do, and I'm just putting the presentation together and meeting with Gladden County one more time this week. I just completed the community incentive program and submitted to the state treasury department for revenue sharing requirements. The CIP requirements consist of approved projected budget of the 101 and all funds, revenue and expense summaries, debt service report, incentive certification and an explanation of assumptions used for all projections. This report ensures our revenue sharing plus an additional 1% for actually completing the incentive program and an additional 2% of the revenue sharing for public safety. And that 2% can be used for recruitment of officers, retention, training, new equipment, or capital improvements to the sheriff's department. I just completed the inventory for our liability insurance renewal, which includes the vehicles, property, money securities, accounts receivable, dam structures, fidelity, flood, terrorism, and other categories. I have a copy of all of that for you here if you want that. And that's all I have. I'll come and pass this around when you guys are.
Lori, can I ask, has the broadband grant been officially scrapped?
It has been officially scrapped. So I think I forwarded some emails to you about that. There was some objections by AT&T. There were some other service providers that objected to the grant, which was approved for Clarence Gladden County. And so the state ended up scrapping that grant and suggested that we apply for. Remember the name of a different grant for broadband, but it would be the same thing.
Yeah, that's a fraction of the money.
Yes, it's a fraction. And it's a 30% match, so and you have to meet certain standards, so you have to be able to show that you're meeting the needs, the broadband needs of so many residents. And then, and for us to do that, to meet the so many residents, it would probably be like over $50 million, and then we have to leverage 30% of that. So that's where we're at with that.
Any other questions for Lori? Okay. Is there any more talk on the settlement agreement?
I would like to ask you to ask Commissioner Ambrositis to abstain, since it would affect him financially. I see it as a conflict of interest.
Doesn't look like anybody's gonna make a motion, so.
You want that red?
Okay.
Body cam discussion.
You have to, wait just a second. You have to make a motion to approve it.
She said, I'm not making a motion from tonight, she just told us that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I thought you had to either approve it or deny.
Nope.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Body cam discussion.
I make a motion to go into contract with Axion Enterprise Incorporated for body cams. Approve the yearly payment schedule, so we can start the step.
Okay. We got a motion, we got a second, let's discuss it.
I didn't hear the second, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Okay, what's the discussion?
Everything ready on the second?
You said the half is paid for by grant,
Yes,
how's the other half paid?
it'll be paid yearly out of the general fund.
So it's a 5-year deal.
And it's a 3-year refresh, so
You get new equipment after 3
I mean
years.
30 months refresh
Is this subtotal with the grant or without the grant?
without the grant.
Without, so. We basically get 81.5.
Yeah.
For half that.
Yep, and the grant paid up front. And then we pay on it for 5 years, and then we get, refresh equipment after 30 months.
And. How many body cameras is this? Is this everybody?
Yeah.
And ours are 10 years old, I was told,
5,
5.
They're 5 and a lot of them aren't in service anymore, so they're just not working and they cost us X amount every time we send them in, so. It's technology, we gotta keep doing it.
So John, are we paying for them even though they don't work?
No, if they don't work anymore, they're not, whatever, but that also includes the data that's backed up, so it's not, we're not doing it here, so it's offsite.
So there's also a service agreement on top of the camera.
Correct,
yes,
Okay.
And that's included in that cost right there.
yes.
yes.
Any more discussion?
How many total cameras you have? 28?
I can't hear you.
How many total cameras?
How many total cameras?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
I apologize.
What's
I know that Mike had it, but he had to take off and for something else.
28. Body worn cameras, yeah, 28. Roll call, please.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Majewski,
Yes.
Hauser. Yes. Gilmore,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Feinhardt,
Yes.
Oversight,
Yes.
Castle.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we were wrong, George, last meeting that Joe was not an alternate, so we need a motion to appoint him as an alternate.
Okay, I would move to appoint Joe Phillips as an alternate to the MSHN Substance Abuse Disorder Oversight Policy Board with a term ending on 8/31/2024.
I'll second.
Motion got second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah.
I apologize for that, I messed up committees.
Well, what? Marlene, will you take the transit?
Yes.
First
I'll make a
motion.
motion to approve the amendment to the transportation services agreement as presented.
And I have changed to in lot 14. For Dr. Sign.
I would second it.
Okay. What is this all about? I guess I read it briefly.
So, transit now, in order to receive certain funding for transit, they have to show the lease agreement. And there wasn't one. So now that there is, you know, it's only leased for $1 a year, they just have to show, they have to have it in writing. And then this is the services, the service agreement.
Okay, motion got second. $1 a year. Do we need a roll call on that?
Yes,
Anything financially with a roll
So
call.
roll call, please, Lori.
Majewski.
Yeah.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Feinhardt,
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Oversight,
Yes.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Castle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
David, you take that second motion?
Of course. Motion. Yeah, motion to approve the lease agreement between the county of Clare and Clare County Transit Corporation.
I'll second.
Motion got second. Roll call, please.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Ambrosino,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Feinhardt,
yes,
Bacon,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Castle,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay. Dale, you take statutory finance one?
The Drury Statutory Finance Committee meeting minutes of November 13th, 2023, in the amount of $64,853.08. And the minutes of November 27th, 2023, in the amount of $157,977.80.
Yes, take roll call, please, Ware.
Janeski.
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yeah.
Hauser,
Yes.
Ambrosino.
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Feinhardt,
yes,
Castle.
Yeah. Dave, will you take B?
Make motion to approve the expenditure for the month of November 2023 in the amount of $3,342,363.61, with the general fund expenditures totaling $1,109,362.13.
Motion, got a second? Roll call, please.
Ambrosino,
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Feinhardt,
yes,
Castle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
George?
Okay, I move to approve the budget adjustment, number 24-22 and 24-19 in the amount of $95,384.46 and $200,000.
Second, roll call, please.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Ambrosino,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Feinhardt,
yes,
Castle.
Yeah. Okay. Jack, you take the next one?
I move to approve the Board of Commissioners meeting dates through December 2024 with the dates consistent with the third Wednesday of the month unless specified on the posting, with meetings to begin at 9 a.m.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. I know we had discussed about the committee of the whole.
That's coming up.
That's coming up.
That's
That's
not,
coming up. Next. Oh, okay.
or coming up soon.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, who was the second? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. And did we set the ones that there's going to be like this year, Christmas, that,
Yes, I did.
or in the packet?
Yeah, it's in the packet. So I put, well, Christmas, was later, so the third Wednesday is the
Work
18th,
for
so I
that.
left it that way. And then I changed to November 13th. Which is the second Tuesday, or the second one.
Right. What's September 30th?
That is a budget meeting, no matter what. We
Okay,
always
oh,
have
gotcha.
that's an extra meeting. And then this is, it was set for the second Wednesday because Juneteenth is the third Wednesday.
Okay. We got a motion. We got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay. Rick?
To approve the finance meetings dates as presented through December 2024, starting at 9 a.m. with the days consisting with the off week of payroll.
Second.
You got a second discussion?
There are some Tuesdays scheduled on there, and that is because of holidays.
Yep. All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Marlene, you take?
I make a motion to approve the committee of the whole meeting dates through December of 2024 with dates consistent with the first Wednesday of the month with meetings to begin at 9 a.m.
Second.
Dale, you had some discussion on this?
Yeah, we had canceled quite a few of them this last year I'm not sure that that there's a need for the committee of the whole meeting. Other than if there's something that comes up, then we could have one. I mean, can we just have it as needed?
I think that would be better too, because we get to the regular meetings like today. And well, we didn't have a committee of the whole this month, I realized, but even when we have a committee of the whole, people aren't bringing us stuff ahead of time. So we get to the regular meeting and haven't seen the stuff until we get to the meeting anyway, so. I think the committee of the whole has been kind of a waste of time, since we don't transact business.
But we've kind of been doing that right along. If we have nothing, we don't have it. If we do, we have it. So I feel that we could continue on with that. And if we need it, because, for instance, the sheriff's department, and I understand, they had a grant come up and they needed their body cams, but that's a perfect discussion for a committee, the whole thing, so we actually have time to, I feel, think about that instead of having to make a snap decision like we did. And I'm not complaining about that. I think that was a very good
I think it's a
decision.
good idea if we use it for what it's intended for.
Yeah.
But even when people know things ahead of time, they haven't been bringing it to committee of the whole,
And a lot of
so we don't
times,
get to see it anyway.
like for the body camera, grant, we didn't even know about that until last
Well,
Thursday.
and I understand that, but I'm just using that as an example.
I would agree with Jeff. I think that it's important to have this meeting. I know we've had a discussion about this multiple times in the past, about whether or not to have a second meeting of the month. However, we have canceled them, that is true, but it's better to have it in place than not have it in place and have to try and make time in everyone's schedules. When we have it already planned out, if we have to cancel it, then no one's.
I feel if there's no purpose in it, there's no reason to have it. But if we do need it, we have it there.
We have everything there, and in the past, when we haven't had a second meeting, it has had multiple times when we've had emergency situations where we needed to have things discussed, but we haven't had the time to discuss, and then people were upset about it. So I'd rather have the meeting and not need it, than not have the meeting and need it.
Who's gonna be in charge of determining if you have the meeting or not?
I've kind of been doing that.
Okay.
If there's nothing on the agenda as the board chair, I say, no, we don't need it. If there's something on there, obviously we gotta have it. So that's kind of how that's been rolling.
That's
And
good.
sometimes, things come in after the committee, after we would have the scheduled committee of the whole. And then it goes on to the agenda for the regular board of commissioners meeting.
That's
Because
the
you
stuff we
can't,
gotta understand that, yeah,
it does
sometimes,
happen.
yeah, it does happen, but it also is good to have time to think about it also, I feel, so.
That's why I try to put as much information when I get you the packet, when there's not a committee of the whole. Well, just vote on it one way or the other. Right?
Okay,
Can I make a comment?
yes, you can.
If you don't schedule these now and you need a meeting, it's a special meeting, there are a lot. More things that have to be put in place to schedule a special meeting, and the board struggles with getting those emails to me. And it creates more work on Lori and myself to track down those requests for special meetings and. Just trying to, there's extra work involved in special meetings. And if these are already on the books, there's very little extra work to cancel them versus scheduling a special meeting.
The committee of the whole helps you out in your reviews, so they're not. It's neat.
At times, yes, it does. At times, it's just more work. But I work for the board, so whatever the board decides, I will.
Well, let's decide it. Let's vote.
Jeff, I've requested a roll call.
Well, I have no problem with that. David? Lori, roll call, please.
Majeski,
No,
Jenkins,
No,
Ambrositis,
Yes.
Copeland,
Yes.
Howard,
No,
Reinhardt,
No,
Gilmore,
No,
Hess,
Yes.
motion failed.
All right, we'll strike that off there. Get your emails ready for any meeting. Okay, who did that? Marlene, did you do that last one?
Yes, I did.
David, will you do the holidays?
What we do for the holiday schedule as presented for calendar 20-year, 2020.
Second. Anything out of the ordinary we need to think about, or is it status quo?
I hope not. I mean, we went through the contracts of when the meeting or when the holidays were supposed to be there, so hopefully it's all there.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Dale?
Sure. To approve the grant in the amount of $500,000 from the state land bank. I believe.
Got a second? Roll call, please. You discussed that in your.
Yeah. But Jenny talked about it.
Counselor,
Yes.
Bankin,
Yes.
Holding,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Steinhardt,
Yes,
Ambrosi,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
motion carried.
Gabe, I hate to do this to you, but. Take the next one, please.
I make a motion to approve the attached letters of understanding. Number one, Clare County Command Officer Association of Michigan Command Bargaining Unit. 2, Police Officer Association of Michigan Non-Supervisory Group. 3, Police Officer Association of Michigan 911 Central Dispatch Bargaining Unit. Number 4, Police Officer Association of Michigan Corrections Bargaining Unit.
Now, if you want discussion about that, I will just read what I sent you in the email.
We got a motion, we got a second. Everybody content? All right, roll call, please.
Ambrosi,
Yes.
Majeski, Holding,
Yes.
Counselor,
Yes.
Bankin,
Yes.
Gilmore,
Yes.
Steinhardt,
yes,
Patrick.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Lori, got anything for us?
A little bit, we've been programming the February ballot. We had a last minute addition of 3 proposals on the ballot for Gladwin, 2 in Gladwin Community Schools and 1 for the County operating another, which that's part of our city of Clare, so we had to add that on the last minute. I want to remind all of you, and if you're talking about the elections, remind your constituents that in February, they have to ask for a specific ballot. They have to ask there are 3 types of ballots. There's a Democrat ballot, there's a Republican ballot, and there's a proposal only ballot. So if someone doesn't want to vote for president and only wants to vote on the proposals for the townships that have proposals, they can get just a proposal only ballot. But in the presidential primary, you have to ask for a specific party ballot.
Lauren, are you gonna? I need to ask you this, but are you gonna come up to the townships? I'm wondering if we try and say something, what happens if something gets?
I'm trying to get out there. I've held 3 town hall meetings. I publicize it in the paper and on social media, trying to get the community to come out and listen to the changes. There's very low turnout. I had all 3 of them, one in Harrison, one in Clare, and in Farwell. Very low turnout. We had more clerks there than the public at most of the meetings, but I am trying to get out. It's very difficult because there's going to be so I will try to, when it fits in the schedule. No comment. I would like to.
I just thought that, maybe people have questions,
Mhm.
they can ask, or it would be less confusing if
Sure.
we take the information to them. They have a really good question and we can answer it.
You can always give out my phone number. And if any of you have my cell number, you can give that out. I'm always available. Answer questions. I don't mind. Anyone giving out my cell phone number. But take questions on the weekend, if you need to know. So, But I am trying to get out, but it's very difficult right now. We're short-staffed, we're down 2 staff. That was another thing I wanted to just put a bug in your ear. I know we just passed the budget. I would encourage you to look at different ways to increase wages for our employees. With this last 3% increase that you gave, just barely got my employees over $15 an hour. And I challenge each of you to look at your budget and see if you could live on $15 an hour. And, just because when I do it, I don't know how I could make it on $15 an hour. So I am urging you to look at the budget and find ways to adjust the pay for the employees. There are openings in Gladwin County and biting my fingernails, hoping no one jumps over to Gladwin County Clerk's office because they make $3 more an hour. So that's quite an increase in wages to just drive 20 minutes. And so I'm very fearful that will happen within our building. I would like to ask you to look at the wages within our building, because just in our building down the hall, we make $2 to $3 more an hour than my staff. And then staff, and I believe Michelle is also, or in unit 1. So I'm not blaming you or calling names or anything, just asking you to really take a good, hard, long look at the wages. And I know that means cuts in other areas, and one suggestion that I had, if you're willing to take suggestions, what I'm finding when I'm interviewing people or seeking people out is this generation looks at the dollar an hour. They look at the dollar an hour. They want to know how much they make an hour. And I don't know if this can be done. If I know they get a stipend if they don't take the health insurance, maybe say you make, instead of $15 an hour, you make $17 an hour. Can that be adjusted so that they see it in their hourly wage versus a stipend? Individuals in this generation don't understand that, but a lot of them don't understand the stipend. And maybe if we can adjust their wage, I'm just trying to think outside of the box, find different ways to bring people in to apply for jobs here. This is a good job. It's a good place to work. It has good morale in the building for the most part now, and the benefits are good. It is a good place to work. It's just hard to get people to apply at the current wage. So that's my wage spiel. And I also talked to Lori about this. I wondered if the commissioners would consider a wage scale for elected officials when Sheriff Wilson decides not to run again. Will his new person coming in with potentially no experience get his big wage if I decide not to run again, or if any of us are opposed and a new person comes in, will they get the wage that we get? Or so I would also like you to consider that coming into the next budget year, a wage scale for elected officials.
All of this stuff definitely will be looked at during the 8 different union negotiations. So
On that note, if you know any good individuals that are looking for a position, I have a position open in courts, and I have a position open in my vital records and elections center. So I am open to anyone, and we have specific requirements, because no one coming into a position like this will have experience. We're very lucky if they do, but it's such a specialized position that there's likely not going to be anyone that has experience. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Yay. Jenny?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mine is short today. You have your financial report already that I handed out that has your current cash balance as of yesterday and the current fund balance as of yesterday. And then just on the other note is, we applied for the blood grants. The first 500,000 we didn't have to apply for, but the second batch, we just applied for just under $1 million. Lori helped me, the land bank board helped. We went through, I think it was 16 properties, 8 of them we pushed through, for the fourth grant, and we have our fingers crossed that they'll go through there. And I'm not exactly sure when we will see about that. Most of the townships, we had quite a few townships that did, ask for properties to, be remediated, well, actually demolished for the most part. We did have one that wanted to, stabilize, and one that wanted to rehabilitate for, historic preservation. So we're fingers crossed that it goes through, but we'll find out pretty soon, hopefully. And then we're hoping that some of the properties would go hand in hand with Lori's grant that she just did for some housing opportunities. But that's it for me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm up. I guess I would like to report the success story through Michigan Works, who had their meeting Monday night. Clark County individual, but due to work, I had to miss that. So I'll report that next meeting. I apologize, and I don't have anything really. Business as usual. Dale?
Yeah, just attending my meeting. Nothing really.
Marlene?
Been attending my meetings, Reading Township is working through all of their little problems, and we'll get there. They will get there, and that's all I have.
David?
I have a few things, not as many as normal, the, change in the November schedule of the, splitting this month's report last month. In Winterfield Township, we, had the, they do theirs every 2 months. They appointed a new attorney, they've been looking for one for a few, months now. It's the, attorney out of, Grand Rapids area, name's, David Poirier. They also rehired the, old sexton, he, originally retired due to health, but, he talked to his sons and they, told him that they'd be interested in going into their father's line of work, so he's gonna be starting a new company with them, he's gonna teach them the trade. In Franklin Township, they had a discussion about, oil and mineral rights. Airport board, we are still working on the stuff in the state. Summerfield Township had a quick brief meeting. Basically, they just discussed the brine contract for the upcoming year, approved that. Hamilton Township had a few things on the agenda. The one of the big things was they are currently discussing whether or not to add a pickleball court to their garage. Apparently, there is quite a few people in the county that are looking for an indoor space over the winter to play pickleball. And they decided they're gonna start looking into that. We hosted there. There were some questions by the local community about funding for local lakes, private versus public, and it was discussed. They did sign the fire contract for Harrison, although they're going to be having to look in the future for potentially having to go for a special assessment due to the increased cost of the contract. They also hired a new person for the border review. George Laura is going to be stepping into the position. And then they accepted a bid by Larry the Cable Guy to do the security cams for the hall. They're going to be installing, per the state rules, one for the ballot drop box. And then they're going to be looking in the future to be adding more around the hall to add increased security so that no one gets in trouble. That's all I have.
Thank you, David. Gabe?
Good morning. The only thing I have is on the airport. It was mentioned earlier about some legal work. That was the license with a license document to allow us to cut the trees on the 3 properties on the north end of the runway. And that was just basically to ensure that we had a legal document to allow us to do that. There should be 3 bids coming to the administrator's office for the tree cutting. For as many as we can get, and we will discuss that at our next meeting this month.
Nice.
We have 10 trees to cut. Go ahead.
George?
Been attending my meetings, everything's going well in both townships. I do have a concern. If we do not vote on the proposed settlement, we're not going to be stuck in the settlement because you and Lori signed to bring it to the board, are we?
Nope.
Okay,
Our attorney said that in parting.
Okay.
Jack?
I was over at the Arthur Township meeting Monday night and it was a packed house, standing room only. And they discussed, DTE was there and discussed the solar cells that are going to be coming in places. And they laid out, the guy from DTE wanted to emphasize that they wanted to work with the townships and the local officials and didn't want to fall back on the State Public Utilities Commission that ultimately can make the final decision. But they talked about how it will be, and it's gonna be quite a lengthy process from the time they sign up some of the land until the actual construction starts. My own mind, I think it's gonna be interesting to see where are those solar cells? I think people have already signed up for them, but the work hasn't started. Now, there is going to be one construction in Clare County down at the corner of Surrey Road and Eberhard. I see they're clearing the land and doing what they need to do there, but they didn't say how many, whether the sign up is already done or whether they're still looking for more property, but there's solar cells coming. And we're not sure yet just what that's going to do with the classification. Will it turn farmland from agricultural into industrial? We don't know that. And we don't know what the impact will be on the taxes. Whether they'll go up because it's industrial or just what. So anyway, it was quite an informative talk about it. A lot of questions. The guy from DET did a nice job of explaining it. You know, what's going to happen with them, you know, will come out. I know that I can tell you 3 places in my routes, you know, around the state that they are putting them in now. And it's quite a process. They gotta level the land and they gotta put fences all the way around it. And there's down on 46, there's 2 places on I-27 down by St. Louis, there's one going in. And they say there is an 800-acre one going in Iosco County. So that's a big solar farm. So one other thing, I'm sure that you're all aware, there is a ballot proposal that is going to be, they're collecting signatures now. It's called the Axe Tax Act. Axe, the property taxes. Now they've got to collect, I don't know how many 100,000 signatures to be able to put it on the ballot. But the proposal is to eliminate all property taxes and supplement it with other forms of income. Now, in my mind, I think if they can get the signatures and get it okayed through Lori can tell you who they gotta get it okayed through, who on the state level makes it.
The Bureau of Elections checks the signatures, to see if there are enough signatures to meet the threshold to be placed on
Okay.
the,
Have you heard anything about this?
nothing.
Nothing. Okay, well, they're in the process of getting the people and, you know, getting the petitioners out there, and I think you're gonna be hearing something about it. I think there's a lot of ornery old people out there that'll probably support something like this, but this has it would be a real serious thing on how they would replace the schools. They said will take a massive hit. and, you know, property taxes for the students and that. Well, so we'll see, but you're gonna hear about this. It's coming up. That's it.
Thanks, Jack. Rick?
I have nothing, during work conflicts, can attend my meetings, but I'll be there next month.
Do we have any budgetary concerns right now?
No, we don't have any concerns. At this time, we should probably be around 16% expense. And we are at 18% expense, but that's not unusual. And then, we ended our year with a fund balance of $5 million.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? Any public comment? Yes, Wayne.
Wayne Rogers, with the road commission. So I just wanna say thank you to Lori. She's been very helpful in the last month or so with a FEMA grant we were putting in for to replace a couple bridges to prevent future and current flood issues we've had with the road. And then I just wanted to remind everyone, hopefully you received an email invitation for tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock at the City of Harrison building. We have a special guest, William Hamilton. He is a fiscal analysis for the transportation budget in the House Fiscal Agency. Never personally met him, had several phone conversations with him. Not a bad thing by any means. It's actually like really unique opportunity for our county. He's done the same thing for Kalamazoo County. So in our conversations over the phone, this opportunity arose. So he's coming to speak, present, answer any questions we have, you may have. It's not like a negative type situation. It's a good situation. Have lunch after, and hopefully I'll learn something and maybe other people will learn something as well. But anyways, that offers on the table to you guys as well. And right now I think we're close to 50 people, so sounds like so far so good, hopefully. That's all I had. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, any unfinished business? No new business.